Hey, yo, Jay, can we get some ratchet one time?
Look, I don't wanna talk. How you try and press the kid and really you was soft. All you know is capping, homie, you don't know the law. Pedal to the metal, you ain't catching me in park. I just hit the stop. I don't wanna speak. Talking all that good, so I just hit you with the plays. Running up the score like Tyreek, I'm going deep. Watch me how I'm saucing, I be spreading it with ease. You gon' see the peace. You gon' see the flex when you hear these writtens. Trust me, you know the difference. I got a long ways to climb before you see a slippage. I see the process and the journey I'm supposed to be, but perplexed, cause I don't really see nobody close to me. Hopefully this ain't wasted, and I know it ain't. You gotta take the time for seasoning to marinate. You need the patience under pressure just to detonate. I'm trying to blow up and these heathens need to get it straight. Gifted with a vision and precision, I'm just trying to make it high key. Might be breaking free like I was Zion in some Nikes. Tucked at the crib, bro, you know just where to find me. Making beats and spitting crack verses pretty likely. Yeah, socks with the burst, boy, I ain't changed a bit. Normal guy till I die, you know what it is. You probably thought I'd give up now that I got some kids, but really now I got these arrows aiming at your ribs. I don't wanna talk. How you try and press the kid and really you was soft. All you know is capping, homie, you don't know the law. Pedal to the metal, you ain't catching me in park. I just hit the stop. I don't wanna speak. Talking all that good, so I just hit you with the plays. Running up the score like Tyreek, I'm going deep. Watch me how I'm saucing, I be spreading it with ease. You gon' see the peas. Hey, please be on the notice, these my motives. Bought my chicken and it's rotis. You parsimonious, you take it all cause you a locust. My focus is to grow this mission. A visionary, get a dictionary. We here off the ribbon, we ain't sharing, we just caring. Let me speak it to the manager. We damage her, no you ain't messing with an amateur. I'm ramming, the competition ain't standing up. They fanning from left to right cause now they branded us. Now who that is? Mike Jones, they ain't want me now, they all on me. Got counterfeits trying to play me, I guess they thinking I'm Sony. These big head dummies showing up and out of their character. Homie, you need a price cause without it the squad ain't hearing you. Top of that, we ain't fearing yet. We swinging for the fences with the sting of a left hook that connects with Sonny Liston. I'm dismissing any and all of the disrespect. Nonetheless, it ain't a threat, I'm just letting y'all know who's next. I don't wanna talk. How you try and press the kid and really you was soft. All you know is capping, homie, you don't know the law. Pedal to the metal, you ain't catching me in park. I just hit the stop. I don't wanna speak. Talking all that good, so I just hit you with the plays. Running up the score like Tyreek, I'm going deep. Watch me how I'm saucing, I be spreading it with ease. You gon' see the peas, you gon' see the...
Coach, what's next for me, Joe? I'm gonna get that second bell. Where the f*** is it? They should have had them two bells ready. Space shine for me.
Yeah. Head up in the clouds, dog, they saying I look stressed. I've been feeling down, pray to God that I'm up next. Remember when she blew me off, that's why I can't text. Now she call me petty, but I swear I can't forget. This ain't a test. Now they saying that I ball like Jerry West. Coming back for what is mine, can't take no less. I said go and take a shot, so I need your best. And stop the threats, don't know what is in me. I don't got time, I'm not giving the energy. Too many people around me, I'm finicky. I do not mess with you, dog, you're not kidding me. You don't got way too close. I been up at the top now, so they all wait for the landslide. I seen too many people that switched up, whose man's high. Through it all, I stay the same, I swear to God, I can't lie. Been down so damn low that I came up from my life. They talk way too much on the internet, it's not real life. I swear my fam waiting, I can't lose and I'm still right. Still right, I swear that I'm working them up till like midnight. It's real life, I got a time and I'm coming to get mine. In time, I cannot lose and I'm coming right inside. I'm in my, yeah. Phone started jumping, what a day. Swear to God I need it, now I can't afford to wait. I just had a fan hit me up from Kuwait. Told him this would happen and we not a minute late. Seen him down bad, now they tryna hate. Same ones try to hit me for the raise. Got a mill, now they coming with a blaze. Check the numbers, fam, I swear I'm getting paid. I'm a Don just like the Perrier. It's text one time when I'm looking at her face. On the low, like I'm pushing up the bass. Told him come down and I'll meet him at a gate. Got a check and I bought myself a place. They get some money and they blow it on bait. I don't flex, but I'm pushing all the weight. Told them all, I swear I got it's what it takes. Phone started jumping, what a day. Swear to God I need it now, I can't afford to wait. I just had a fan hit me up from Kuwait. Told him this would happen and we not a minute late.
Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Ayy, on the road, here we go. Yeah, we winning by a landslide. Never see me coming, I'm a landmine. Yeah, I ain't taking orders in command like. Yeah, you about to see me on demand like. You know on demand. If you ain't know, you about to understand. Yeah, I got the team by my side, right hand. Yeah, take it to a string, you ain't seen it like that. Yeah, and it's the dream, and we coming for the bag. Yeah, and we ain't never going back now. Future expedited, now we on the fast track now. They won't lend a hand, now they see us on the map now. It's time to act out. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Hey, on the road, here we go. Yeah, at the top of the class on a roll. Hey, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Yeah, maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Yeah, on the road, here we go. Here we go. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Hey, on the road, here we go. Yeah, at the top of the class on a roll. Hey, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Yeah, maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Yeah, on the road, here we go. Here we go. On the road, here we go.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Frankie Candles live stream every single weekday right here at 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And guys, oh my God, Bitcoin, do something, dang it. Bitcoin just stuck, guys, at the POC of our macro range here. I'm going to give you guys all the sauce today. We're going to talk about the bearish case, the bullish case. I'll let you guys know which way I'm leaning, and we're going to jump into those lower time frames. I'm going to show you guys kind of what I'm expecting next here for Bitcoin. But to start this off, guys, I will just say Bitcoin is still sitting in that low probability area where there is it's very, very hard to make a call here, guys. And, I talk about this all the time. When I come up here, guys, when there is a strong situation or a strong high probability trade setup or just a high probability call to make when we have a lot of things pointing in one direction, I'm happy to come up here and be like, hey, guys, this is what I'm looking for. And more often than not, we see that happen. But right now, guys, I do have to say we are in somewhat of a low probability zone as we sit in the middle of the range. You guys know I don't like to take trades in the middle of a macro range like this. But I'm going to try to cover it, guys. It's a little bit hard to read. We have mixed signals. We have bearish signs on the higher time frames. We got some money flow coming up on lower time frames. But I'm going to try to break it down as simply as possible for you guys here, as, to be quite honest, not that much has changed since last week. We kind of just went sideways over the weekend. Now we're getting another little push to the upside, but nothing really to write home about just yet. So I'm going to cover all those levels for you guys and show you the high probability outcome. And the way I'm kind of playing this, as you guys know, I have been holding my short position and will continue to do so. I'm holding my short position from around $102,000 with the anticipation of potentially having that continue down to our value area low, sitting between $90 and about $92,000. And I am still holding that. I have profits locked in, stop loss in profit. So guaranteed winning trade there. So I am still just holding that trade, waiting for something to happen. I was hoping something was going to happen over the weekend, but we're just still sitting here at the exact same prices that we were last week. And I'm going to kind of explain to you guys why this is a little bit of a low probability zone to be looking for new positions and why I'm waiting for those higher targets or higher time frame targets to get hit before making another decision and getting into another trade. So shout out to the CandleMafia. Thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate every single one of you guys. We got Jesse in the chat. K Diggity Pennywise, what is going on? Said, what I've learned so far today, don't chase bottoms except for these. Drops emoji of a peach. Always eat more ribs and be cool, honey bunny, and no FOMO. There will always be another trade. Shout out to Pennywise. Absolutely, bro. And I see you changed your profile picture. I'm going to have to try to remember that one. But let's see. We got Spanky in the chat. What is going on? Said, bought a new massage chair to sit in and chill on this garbage market. Frankie, am I the top signal? Shout out to Spanky. Well, hopefully, guys, if Bitcoin is topped out here at 110K, which as you guys know, as of right now, I am not falling in that camp. We are still in a bull market here for Bitcoin. I know the alts are getting crushed, but I will say, if it is the top, my new chair may be the top signal. I'm not going to lie. But anyway, we'll see. We'll see what happens here. Let's see. We got Rao in the chat says, I think I'm watching at 1.5x. Your words are now Usain Bolt. Shout out to you, bro. You might just be in regular speed, to be honest with you. We got Jay Violet in the chat. What is going on, Jesse? Let's see. We got Gordon. We got Nick Dunn in the chat. Let's see. Smash that like button, by the way, guys. If we get 1,000 likes on the next live, any live stream we get 1,000 likes on, guys, we give away $150 in Solana. So let's start smashing those likes. Let's see if we can get 1,000 today. We might need Bitcoin to rip again before we get 1,000 likes again, but let's run it up, guys. We will give away that money if we hit it. Let's see. Cali Crypto Dude, welcome in. We got Luke, and don't forget, guys, show our mods some love. We got Tyler Dirty and Chemistry Bro, Rob the Crypto Snob. You know who they are. Show them some love in the chat. We got Darren Does Things as well, and maybe a Band-Aid. Thank you for the super chat, bro. I appreciate you. He said, hashtag not my inhaler. I don't even know what an inhaler is. You guys always talk about these inhalers. I'm not 100% sure exactly what they even are. But shout out to maybe a Band-Aid. Thank you so much for the super chat, bro. And guys, without further ado, let's go ahead and jump on into these super non-eventful charts. Let's get into it. Oh, man. What about CVD? Is it clear? Is it clear of what may happen? Yeah, shout out to Aziz. We actually do, I believe. Let me pull up Exo charts here real quick. I'm not even going to pull it up on screen. I just want to take a look here because I do believe we do have some, excuse me. We do have some bullish. Yeah, we do have some bullish CVD here on the 30-minute, but I'll be honest, in the grand context of things, could that give us a push up? Absolutely. But in the grand context of things here, guys, I'm going to do the overall analysis. Let's jump into it, and I'll talk to you guys about kind of why we're in a low probability trade zone. Let me just take a quick sip of that Aztecian Cactus Moss Water. And I may hit you guys by surprise at the end of the stream. I was going to say something in the beginning of the stream to let you guys know so you could prepare while watching the stream what's going to happen. But I'm not going to say it because when I say these things in the beginning of the stream, usually I wind up not following through. So anyway, let's continue on here, guys. As we take a look at the chart, as you guys know, Bitcoin just sitting in the middle of our macro range here. Now, what we were looking at last week was the idea of, once we get below this POC, guys, there is a possibility of getting our continuation to the downside. And like I said, I am still holding my short position from up here at about $102,000. Obviously, we did come down a little bit. I got to extend that a little bit. But the overall kind of target for this to play out in full, in my own personal opinion, is to, we took this on the rejection of our weekly / golden pocket level that we had down here, or up here, I should say. Took that short position in the premium Discord, got the move down to the POC, kind of bing-bonged around, but we wound up losing that POC, and we're kind of just stuck to this POC. And as I always say, guys, the POC is the strongest magnet within the profile, and, oftentimes we will see price just cling to that level. And someone in the premium Discord even said, talk about the POC being a magnet, right? You come down, you get back above it, you go back below it, back above it, back below it, back above it, back below it, get a rejection, come back above, now we're back below. And, this does oftentimes, especially with a POC that is so big and, formed from such a large area of price action. Obviously, we've been bing-bonging around in this range for, call it 90 days. 90 days. Unbelievable. But, that big POC is acting as a very strong magnet, as is to be expected here, guys. But like I mentioned earlier in the stream, this is somewhat of a low probability zone. Based off my general trading strategy, guys, I like to take my positions anytime we approach a confluent significant level of resistance, right? Which last time was this weekly golden pocket level that we had, which was very close to our value area high. And then we took that short position, got to move to the downside. But at the end of the day, the higher probability setups, as I've been talking about for the past week or so, is going to be at the value area high or the value area low of the range. So in my personal opinion, the way I am personally, and I'm going to give you guys my opinion on what I think is going to come next here, and like I always say, guys, I am never going to come up here and tell you that I think there's a really good chance we're going to pump or a really good chance that we're going to dump if I do not see that on the charts. And right now, like if you guys tuned into any of the live streams last week, you will know that we've been kind of sitting here being like, a lot of the signals are mixed up, right? We have a lot of mixed signals. Everything is kind of choppy. Even this range locally, it was like very, very choppy. It's kind of just like a slow grind to the downside, which just makes it a very low probability zone, especially being in the middle of the range, right? I like to take shorts up here, longs down here. I don't really like to trade the middle of the range. I would much rather, right, if things went my way and the way I would want them to go, I would hope that we can get below that POC and then just get that drop down to the value area low for that full play out of my short. However, it is kind of like, in my opinion, guys, this is it's really hard to lean one way or another. If I had to lean one way based off the analysis here, guys, I would have to just lean a little bit more bearish, but I really want to say that with a grain. I want you to take that with a grain of salt. I am not saying like I am super, super bearish. There's way more of a probability of coming down. I'm kind of 50-50 to be honest. It's just like a really, really weird place in the market right now as we stick to this POC, especially because we never tapped our value area high, so we can't even use the volume profile saying like, hey, well, we came above the value area high. That's overvalued. We get back in. Very likely we get the full rotation of the range. It's just super, super low probability here. But like I said, my stop loss is in profit here on the short. I do have profits locked in. So if I am happy, like my plan remains overall the same, right? I am happy if we get above this POC and we get a bounce to the upside. I'm going to get a little more nitty gritty into what we can expect here. Potentially, although I would really just put low probabilities on things until we come up to one of these major key levels. But if we get above that POC and we get the bigger move up, I'm happy getting stopped out of my short in profit, pretty decent profit at that. And then if we get the bigger drop down, we'll capitalize more on that short and then look for our next long position. But other than that, like I'm just sitting in my positions here, guys, waiting for Bitcoin to make a dang move here. Now, if we take a look at the daily, you guys know when we were looking at actually, let me bring this up, right? If I bring up our, let me actually pull this up right here. So as you guys know, this is a long from the premium Discord. The only other trade setups that we had in the premium, guys, was to wait to see if we could come grab some of the liquidity that we had sitting inside this golden pocket, really below this wick. We had some liquidity sitting below, right, basically in the same spot as this golden pocket. And last week we were even looking at this, and it just goes to show how low probability this has been, right? Every time we came down here, we front run the golden pocket, front run, right? And we actually even had some 1 hour bullish divergences down here that we were looking for, a potential move back to the upside, and everything's just been super low probability. But we talked about how this golden pocket was front ran, and when you front run a golden pocket like this, more often than not, I don't really have a statistic on this, but an overwhelming majority of the time, you are, even if you get a bounce to the upside, you are very likely to come back down and physically tap that Fibonacci level, and that's exactly what happened, right? We got a little bounce to the upside here on Saturday, and then eventually we did come down and finally tap that golden pocket. So we have come down and tap this level. And I'll be honest, guys, not only this golden pocket that we were looking at last week, but we were all just like also just looking at the overall market, right? Like we are still holding higher lows and higher highs, not only like in the grand scheme of things, like overall throughout this entire bull market, but also just locally here, right? We are technically putting in higher highs and higher lows. We're also holding some very, very important anchored VWAPs. This is another thing that we were looking at. If we pull our anchored VWAP from, I believe it was, where is it? Let me see here. I'm not going to spend the time to find it, but overall, guys, we are pretty much just holding this trend line, right? Let me even hide the overall analysis here, right? We grab our trend line. We're basically just holding higher lows here, right? We have some anchored VWAPs coming through here, which makes it even nicer that we're holding the higher lows. And, we are at a very key level of resistance and support, right? The key level of support is obviously this Fibonacci retracement, because if we are going to look for this to continue our uptrend, we really want to hold this golden pocket. If not, maybe we go for the 786. I would really just prefer to hold this golden pocket. So this is our key level of support, right? We're holding that golden pocket. We got the little bit of a bounce. If we could get back above that POC, maybe there's an opportunity to get above here and shoot up towards our next major key level. Again, I really don't have a preference here. The only preference I would have is a move to the downside to have my short continue to pay me out. But even if we rip to the upside, I'm still making money because I'm getting stopped out in profit. And then again, I would probably lean a little bit more bearish based off market cipher B on the daily time frame with our money flow still being in the red. But, what we were looking at last week, we have this golden pocket, which is the key level we would want to hold to get a continuation to the upside. And we came down, we physically tapped that level, we took the liquidity inside that golden pocket, and we got a little bounce to the upside. We now have our daily green dot, which is kind of what we've been waiting for, right? Saying if we're going to get some kind of a bounce here, we're going to be looking for that daily green dot to be the thing that kind of starts that move. If we could get that in confluence with our 90-minute money flow crossover, which we kind of had, but kind of didn't, right? And if you just come down here, you could just still see how choppy the money flow is here on the lower time frames. Just I don't know how else to put it, right? Like, I don't want to beat the dead horse here, but in simple terms, guys, I'm kind of sitting on my hands. I'm waiting for something to happen here, come up to those key levels. This is just not really a structure that I'm interested in trading, at least for the shorter term trades. Now, again, we did have the setup here from the long, for the long here at that golden pocket in the premium Discord. However, I did not take this position. I was not at the computer. I wasn't available. I didn't even know that we hit the level, to be honest with you, until we came back. And I looked at the charts. I was like, oh, dang, we hit that golden pocket. We actually did put in some bullish confirmations down here. We had a decent amount of bullish divergences into that golden pocket for our bullish divergences. We also had lower time frame bull divs, such as the 30-minute, and that's what gave us that bounce. But again, you just come right into that key level of resistance, which is the POC. So is this going to play out in full? Really hard to call, right? We at least got to TP1, and again, I'm not personally in that position, but at least it came up to TP1 here, which is going to be that POC, and we'll see. We'll see what happens here. I'm simply just sitting out, guys. I am sitting out and waiting for a more clear direction to come in here, but at the end of the day, in simple terms, if we lose this point of control, I'm going to be looking for the bigger drop down. If we hold above it, that's where I'm looking for the bigger move up, and I'm really not interested in bigger trades until we come down here to the value area low, where we also have a lot of liquidity sitting around 92 to 91K, and then if we come up to the higher prices, right? Value area high sitting at about 103,260 is that next major key level of resistance. Now, don't forget, guys, we actually looked at this on the live stream on Friday, I believe. We also do have some visible liquidity sitting above this. Let me change this. I don't know why this is actually do know why this is so big, but let me just let me fix these settings real quick so we don't have to look at this gigantic trend line. But we also do have the liquidity sitting above this wick where I'm short from as well, right? So if we do see that continue up, one of the major targets for that trade, or kind of the full take profit for that trade, will be the value area high of this range. As we know, we have liquidity sitting above. Liquidity acts as a magnet. And again, I would probably put a 50-50 chance on this, either ripping to the upside or dropping down to the value area low. So if we do, we have the liquidity up there. We could look to get taken. That would smash that TP for us, where we could look for another short position. Again, this is the next major level of resistance. And then if we don't get up there and this stops out, that short will continue to pay us out into that value area low. But other than that, guys, I will say I'm sitting on my hands. I'm just waiting for things to play out here. Like I said, when we have high probability situations, I will call for them. But right now, I'll be honest, you could long here, you could short here. You probably have an equal chance of, either coming up or coming down, because again, that POC is really the midpoint of that range. And again, because we did not hit this value area high, if we tap this if we were short from the value area high here, and we actually physically tap that level, I'd probably be much more inclined to call for that drop to the downside. But because of this weird price action, I just can't put a high probability on it. So I'm kind of neutral right now, right? At least in the medium term. Longer term, I have to remain bullish, right? Because again, if you zoom out at least on Bitcoin, I know the alts are getting crushed. But zoom out further enough here, right? This is obviously, there's nothing to worry about here, right? Like, this is just a strong uptrend. So, long-term bullish at this point. Medium term, I'd probably lean, if I had to pick, I'd probably lean a little bit more bearish just based off the TA. But because of the specific situation we're in, I don't know if the TA is going to play out, right? Because if we rip up and we're going to new all-time highs, like, you're just banking on all this money flow on the higher time frames faking out, right? Maybe the daily comes into the red and then fakes back out into the green. So the reason I would, if I was forced to pick a direction, I would just have to stick with the TA and say down. But again, just specifically with the nuances here, front running the value area high, and the mixed signals we have on some of the lower time frames, I'm kind of just neutral. I don't care if it pumps or dumps. I'm making money, at least I'm making money either way, right? I'm making more money if we come down, or I'm just cashing out on that short position if we get the push up, and we'll just find that next trade. But as of right now, guys, really, really, really hard to call. I'll be honest. This is kind of that point in the market where patience is absolutely key, right? You can see here, even on the 3-hour and the 2-hour, our money flow's coming up, right? Which is nice, right? 4-hour starting to leak to the upside, VWAP coming down, so maybe you still get a little bit. And I'll be honest, this 4-hour kind of looks like we might just chop around this POC a little bit more. But 3-hour money flow starting to cross over into the green, 2-hour starting to cross over into the green. So shout out to anybody in the Discord that was watching the charts over the weekend, was able to catch that long position from the golden pocket. for your sake, I hope we get above that POC and launch to the upside. You do have some things pointing in that direction, such as the 2 hour, 4 hour, 3 hour, 3 hour money flow. And even our 1 hour money flow is back in the green as well. And then when we come up to the 12 and the 16 hour time frames, green dot confirmed, 16 hour green dot also confirmed. And the daily green dot with our 90-minute money flow, technically it's there, right? Money flow's in the green, but again, it's just really chopped up. I'm like really not, I'm not really willing to call a really strong situation here. Again, because number one, I don't care. Number two, I like whether we come up or down, that is. And number two, it's just really hard to call here, guys. And I'm sure if you've been watching the charts, especially if you've been trying to trade the lower time frames, unless you're like micro scalping the super low time frames, super choppy here, guys. Super choppy. One thing that I can say you can always stand by is the fact that the TA more often plays out than it doesn't, right? Like last week, front run the golden pocket, front run the golden pocket, front run the golden pocket. I was not long from here because we never hit the golden pocket, and I said maybe it could come up with us, come up without me, right? But I'm totally fine with that. But if it did come down, I'd be interested in a position. I just wasn't at the computer, unfortunately. But that's why we were looking at this setup down here. And just like take this to the bank, guys. If you take anything away from this stream, just take away, what TA is, right? It puts the probabilities in your favor, right? And at this point, with the front run of this golden pocket so many times, the higher probability scenario was to finally come down, sweep that liquidity, and then finally you get some kind of move up, right? It still wasn't that crazy of a move. But maybe this winds up being the low, right? Like it's really hard for me to call. And I just don't want to come up here and pick a strong direction if I don't feel strongly in either. If I don't feel strongly whether it's going to go up or down, I don't want to say it. It's just, at this point, one of them is going to happen. We're going to get the push up. We're going to get the push down. But the TA is just, it's really chopped up here. So when we have unclear signals, guys, there is, you could long, you could short, but a lot of people don't talk about that third option, and that is to sit on your hands and wait. Like I always say, trading is a game of trapping. You do not want to, and if I pull up the premium Discord here really quickly, I don't want to leak anything. Wouldn't be fair for the people who pay because there are some local entries that we're looking at. But just to kind of point this out, guys, in the premium Discord, right, you can see, right, we set these traps in the market before price comes down there, right? We had this long setup on the golden pocket before we ever came down there, right? We front ran it, and we even front ran it a couple more times before finally coming in there. So you want to set those traps in the market so you're sitting on your hands and waiting. And this is why I do it this way as well, because there are, believe it or not, a couple times where price comes down to a key level and I'm just not available, right? So at least in the premium Discord, the Mafia has the levels that we're looking at and the trade setups that we're watching with the confirmations as well, just sitting there waiting, right? So if I'm not there, hey, we're coming on into that golden pocket zone, that long zone. Are we seeing any bullish confirmations, which we did? Maybe you could take a shot at that position. But even these guys, I would still not put the highest probability on those trades continuing to play out either, which is why we kind of took the stance of treating these as scalps until proven otherwise. But yeah, hard to say. I know everybody just wants a yes or no, up or down answer, but I may be one of the few people that are willing to come up here and say, guys, it's hard to call right now, right? Like I said, when it's strong, it is strong. But when it's clogged up in just murky waters like we're seeing right now, it's really hard to say. Again, if I had a GUN to my head and I had to pick a direction, I would just have to stick with the TA. But I would even argue that maybe we don't see that play out either. It's really, really hard to put a definite direction on this right now. Shout out to Ken Bargoff said, hey, Professor Frankie, how much does global money flow have to do with the price of Bitcoin? Also, do you think price will get back to the CME gap at 87 or 77K? Do you guys want to talk about the longer time frames? We could talk about that. To be honest, there's not much else to talk about, right? Like this is the same price action we were looking at last week. Still waiting for the outcome. Still waiting for the dang outcome. Listen, there is for sure, right? If we start losing these range lows, there is definitely a possibility of coming down to some of these more kind of scary levels, right? And again, this is not me saying that like, oh my God, everything looks like garbage. We're definitely going down there. But if we do wind up coming down here and we wind up like breaking these range lows, like getting closer to about, 85 to 87K, we start losing that. We have to understand there is a lot of liquidity sitting below. And if we start breaking those levels, guys, we could see that very fast move to the downside. This is where we typically pull up the, whoops, that's not what I wanted to do. If we pull up the visible range volume profile, this is what we did last week. Just talking about, like, you could just see the visible gap in volume that we have down below, right? Price likes to stick to the high volume nodes. And when you fly through those low volume nodes, typically there is not a lot holding price up or down. So you typically see those very, very big, fast moves. So, it's the same thing here. That same kind of volume theory remains exactly valid, right? So if we wind up losing these range lows, and, more specifically about 87 to 85K, we start losing those, could see a very, very fast, scary, large drop to the downside, not just based off the low volume gap, but also understanding that we have a lot of liquidity sitting down here below that $85,000 range low. And once you tap into those, we're probably going to get very aggressive wicks to the downside as those longs wind up getting wrecked. And that is, in my opinion, if we are going to see the bigger drop to the downside, that's where I think we see that $80,000 to $82,000 zone hit, and potentially into the 70s, where we have our key Fibonacci levels, which are sitting around that $75,000, $76,000 level. So if we are going to do something a little bit more scary, which is not guaranteed here, guys, and I also want to take a look at Ethereum today as well, guys, because Ethereum's starting to look pretty interesting to me, in my opinion, right? But if we do wind up working our way down here and we start losing these range lows, break into the low volume gap, I think it's very likely we at least come down to the golden pocket, start losing the golden pocket. That's where we can look for a drop down to the 786. Now, I do think we would have some kind of narrative that would have to come in here to push price down. Obviously, for us, right? We're just looking at the volume gap, right? We know once we break these levels, we have liquidity below, large low volume gap, probably going to get a quick drop down. But as you guys know, for these big rips up and big drops to the downside, a lot of times there is some kind of narrative, right? Some kind of news event, maybe a black swan, something brings us down there. But if we did, right, this is definitely in the cards, right? It's very hard to say if it's definitely going to happen right now. It's really nothing on the charts. Like I said, I'm pretty much neutral right now for a pushback up to the higher of our range or a drop back down to the range lows. Pretty neutral at this moment. But, if we did, one thing I can say is if we start dropping down here and we start breaking these key levels, we can see that drop to the downside. And that's the argument for $77,000, $76,000 to come in. And like I said, if we do wind up seeing that happen, guys, we really, really want to start bouncing from this fib zone. If we wind up breaking that 786, I would be starting to get a little bit worried. And obviously, I'll keep you guys updated on the live streams when that happens, if that happens. But yeah, there is an argument to say that that we could come down here. Like, it is definitely a scenario. But as of right now, right, like before we look down there, because you could even argue on the higher time frames, right? We have the monthly red dot / bearish divergence. We have the 6-day and the weekly bearish divergences that were just recently confirmed. So it's hard to say, right? At this moment, right? But of course, we have all this, we have the local context here, right? So I'm not really worried about seeing these lower levels hit, and here's like more of like a detailed analysis of what we have down below. If we do wind up coming down here, obviously value area low is going to be a big level to watch, right? We will be looking for long positions at that value area low, but once we start really breaking down here, and I'll pull up some of the other levels, daily level at 87.3, like once we start coming down here and we start losing this is where I think, that's where we are at risk of seeing those like big liquidations to the downside, right? Fast moves up equal fast moves down. That's kind of where I see that danger coming in, but obviously we're kind of far away from that at this moment, right? So I'm not really going to entertain that too aggressively until we wind up coming down here. And even when we come down here, I'll be looking for longs, obviously always entertaining the idea of coming lower. But, until we wind up coming down here and really start losing this range, I'm not really worried about this happening. So we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Because again, who knows, right? At this point, who knows? Maybe we hop the POC and get that move to the upside. And like I said, guys, the line in the sand for me personally, for a big move up, because we also have to understand if we do get above this POC and get a push back up to the high, this is also a key level of resistance. So we will be looking for shorts here as well. But once we start reclaiming, right? Okay, brush is broken. All right, what is this? This has never happened to me in my life. I am not clicking. We are just locked here. What is going on? What is going on? I'm getting trolled right now. Get off. I don't want this anymore. Get away from me. Okay, there we go. That was that. I don't know what the heck that was, guys. But if we do get a move up there, right, you also have to understand, right, this is definitely key resistance. We will be looking for shorts up here. Once we start flipping this value area low to value area high to support, I think this is probably the best chance we have to kind of yoinking out into all-time highs. But again, like even then, you also have your 786 retracement sitting there. So, we have a lot of work to do if we come back up here. So, but at least if we come up here, you're not in the middle of a range, right? At least if we come up here and we see bearish confirmations, I can at least come up here and be like, hey guys, this doesn't look good as we hit key resistance. Probably going to get sucked back into this range. At least we're not analyzing price as we're sitting in the middle of the range. At the end of the day, guys, I know it's really hard, right? I was saying this to Premium Discord. It's kind of hard to sit on your hands, right? Things get boring, and we have situations like this not, I don't want to say often, but like anytime you're sitting in the middle of a range, if you don't get like those quick aggressive moves to the value area high or low, you get these kind of low probability trading situations, and it's just best to sit on your hands, in my opinion, right? I'm not saying right? Like I said, like you could catch scalp positions here, right? Like, but even so, like none of these ranges are getting respected very nicely, right? Like depending on what range, like how you're looking at these as ranges, they're just kind of low probability, right? You just kind of like rip up, back down, back up, then you come back down, rip back up, rip back down, break the low, you break the high, you break the low. It's just gross, right? It's just like nasty price action, low probability trading in my own personal opinion, unless you're like just trying to catch these like tiny little moves to the upside. There is some kind of volatility on the lower time frames, which you could totally capitalize on. But just low probability for the bigger moves in my own personal opinion. Let's see. Shout out to, hang on. Shout out to Blockchain Domain. Thank you for the super chat. Said, Frankie, why do you use these weird custom intervals, 3, 8, 5, 6, 3 hour, and half day, the 1 wick for every fortnight? How do I know when to use each time frame? Shout out to Blockchain Domain. That's a great question. And in my personal opinion, right, if you're new, and Blockchain, I know you've been around for a while. I'm not saying you're new to the charts, but if you're new to the charts, anyone out there that's new to the charts, you could look at so many different time frames. You kind of develop these over time, right? Like, so I look at the 90-minute, and part of the reason I look at the 90-minute is because that's the 1/16th of the daily time frame, right? And when we're looking for that market cipher B 1/16th strategy, where we have a green dot or red dot on the daily with a 90-minute money flow crossover into the green or the red, you have to look at the 90-minute, right? So like literally I'm sitting here thinking like, all right, what's 1/16th of the daily time frame? Oh, it's the 90-minute. Now all of a sudden I'm looking at the 90-minute. Then you're looking at the 90-minute and you're like, well, hey, this money flow is coming up on the 90-minute, but is it going to cross into the green? Well, let me check a little bit of a lower time frame. Let me take another step down. Let me look at the 80-minute. Right now all of a sudden you have the 80-minute on your chart. So I wouldn't get too tripped up on like making sure you have every time frame I'm looking at. If I could give just basic time frames to keep an eye on, weekly, monthly, daily, like very basic, 4 hour, 3 hour, 2 hour, 1 hour. I like to have the 1, 2, 3, and 4 hour daily, weekly, monthly. And then you could kind of look at the, you could go from the 1 hour to the 45 minute and then 30, 24 minutes probably. This is kind of the same thing, right? When you have an 8 hour green dot or red dot with a 30-minute money flow crossover, you might just want to go a little bit lower to see if you're going to get that money flow crossover. You're trying to front run that 30-minute. So you probably don't really need the 24-minute. 15-minute is huge. It's one of my favorite time frames. And then like all of these are kind of the same thing, right? Like I'm looking at the 3-minute because of the market cipher B116 strategy. So I would say like 1, 5, 15, 30, 45, 1, 2, 3, 4 hour, daily, monthly, weekly. Those are like the big ones. All these other nuances, I don't know how useful they're going to be to you unless you're using them in the same way I am. So yeah, that's a great question, Blockchain. But yeah, that's kind of how I would answer that question. You don't have to be like, it's not like if you're not looking at the 80-minute, you're going to miss out on anything huge. So yeah, there you go. Hopefully that answers your question. Shout out to Blockchain Domain. Great question. Thank you for asking that. Let's see. Shout out to Dave Digital in the chat. Welcome in, bro. Welcome in. Let's see. Yeah, just say all of them, Frankie. Shout out to CJ. Yeah, you got to have the 46-minute, the 47-minute, the 48-minute, the 52-minute. The 61-minute, guys, is really the secret time frame. But no, at the end of the day, guys, there's no secret time frame. But just to explain why these weird time frames are on my chart, that's really why. It has a lot to do with the market cipher B116 strategy. But again, like if I had to take if I could only look at a certain amount of time frames, probably daily. And then again, like, maybe you want to see some of the higher hourly time frames. But again, like, why do I have the 8 hours saved? It's because of the market cipher B116 strategy. So hopefully that kind of gives a little bit of clarity on why I look at the time frames I look at. Start on the high time frames and work your way down using the 1 minute to find solid entries to not lose a drop of blood. Yeah, shout out to Dr. MTG. Absolutely, right? Doing that top-down analysis. If you guys watch the beginner series, I do have videos explaining like time frames and like kind of how you want to look at the charts, especially when it comes to finding key levels. I always start on the higher time frames. The higher time frames are going to hold the more significance, right? So I always, anytime I sit down at the chart and I start doing fresh technical analysis, I am starting off on the high time frames. I'm going, hey, if you give me a blank Bitcoin chart, I'm sitting here, I'm going to the monthly, right? Where are those monthly levels of support, right? Now, obviously, the next level of support we have is super far away at 58K, but if we came down there, probably going to be able to catch some serious long positions off that level, even if you don't go back into all-time highs. That monthly level is going to be super strong to look at. And then you work your way down to the weekly. I mark out my weekly horizontal levels. Then I go to the daily horizontal levels. And then I don't do any general horizontals on the hourly time frames. But that's how I do it, right? I start on the higher time frames. I'll pull my higher time frame fixed range volume profiles, right? Obviously, in this case, we have this large volume profile here, but that doesn't mean that when we come down to the 30-minute, right, we might not have a local profile. Let me, I think I do have this on the chart here. Bada boom, right? Doesn't mean we don't have a local profile as well, right? So we have this local volume profile. That's the long position from the premium, premium Discord. Bada boom. Unfortunately, not in that personally, but right, you also had this, and again, like this is just goes to show, right? Like didn't hit the front ran the value area high, front ran the value area high, hit the value area high, front ran the low, front ran the low. So like again, this is not the most beautiful range, but again, you can see you have lower time frame ranges, but we always start on the higher time frames and work our way down to the lower time frames. Called top down analysis. I 100% recommend that. That's how you do your analysis as well. Not financial advice, just TA advice. All right, let's see. Shout out to CJ, said, I never thought about 16ths. That makes sense. Yeah, like, to be honest, the main ones that I like to look at are the daily 90-minute, the 8-hour and 30-minute, and the 4-hour and 15-minute. But you could totally, I find pretty good success with this, even on, like, low time frames. Like, the 1-minute money flow with the 15-minute green or red dots is, like, a big one as well for scalps. That could work out pretty good. So any 1/16th, right? Like, even the weekly and the whatever it is, 16th of any of those, it typically does wind up working out. So there you go. Let's see. What's up, Frankie? Shout out to Ryan Alex. What is going on, man? Welcome in. Thank you for being here. Rob the Crypto Snob says, Wick's wife, fine 89. Kind of, yeah. Hang on. Where's Wick's wife? Wick's wife said, K-Dig, I have ribs. Can I join the cult? Is there a rib cult? Oh, my God. Are we going to be smashing some ribs? Are we doing a Frankie Candles mukbang tonight? Let's go, guys. I like it. How do you add the 90-minute? Shout out to Crypto DC. You're going to want to just come on down to this drop-down menu, and you should have the ability to select your time frames and just click this little star, and that is what will add it to the top here. You could also come down here and you could also come do a custom time frame. I don't know why I can't see it right now. I'm going to have to, probably hide some of this stuff. Bada boom. Where's the custom? Oh, yeah, you can add a custom at the top here. Just click add, and then you can put in, like, whatever, like the 13-minute if you want to look at it, and then just add those stars. Those stars is what will add it up here for you. Now, if you have a free version of TradingView, you may be limited to the amount of time frames that you can look at, so just keep that in mind. It's honestly like one of the big reasons I tell people that you might want to pay for TradingView. You can obviously do your analysis on a free version of TradingView if you don't have any money to shell out. It's not a reason to not try or not start learning. But I will say, like, the biggest reason I would recommend paying for a version of TradingView, a paid version of TradingView, is 100% to get more time frames on the chart. I think they start you off with like the daily, the weekly, the 4-hour, and I think the 15-minute. Like, there's very, very little time frames, and you can't do custom either. So there you go. But anyway, let's move on here, guys. Shout out to Aziz said, Frankie, if we're going lower, how to avoid stopping out of multiple times below 91.6. We may get bullish divergences, but still fast-wicking low prices. Any recommendations? Well, a really easy way to avoid getting stopped out on those wicks is honestly to enter on the wicks, right? So enter on a swing failure of the low. So let's, for example, say, I'm not going to get too into this, right? But let's say we do come to this low here. If you do wick below here, right, we have these areas or these wicks that we can understand that we have liquidity sitting below. So the best way to kind of avoid that, in my opinion, right, one of the highest probability kind of confirmations that you can get is if you get a bullish divergence with the ending in a swing failure pattern of a key level, right? So if you have a bull div plus an SFP, that is a very, very high probability confirmation to get a continuation up or down depending on what you're looking at, right? So, at the end of the day, to stop yourself from just continuously getting stopped out, number one, wait for the confirmations, right? Don't just try to, just catch the knife for no reason, right? You want to look for the SFP, you want to look for the bullish divergence or whatever trade confirmation that you're looking for, entry confirmation that you're looking for. Just only enter the trade when you see those confirmations, right? Because if you don't see the confirmation, let's say we come down here, right, and there's no entry confirmations, probably going to get another drop down. So that would be stop out number one. If you don't have any confirmations here, you're probably going to come down again. That's stop out number two, right? But if you just let price kind of do its thing, let it bounce around, be patient, don't FOMO in, right? I'm not saying you do that. I'm just saying in general, I know a lot of people do, and you just wait, right? And then finally you get those bullish divergences, whatever that confirmation you're looking for, you avoid the bad entry here, you avoid the bad entry here, you avoid a bad entry here, and then you just look to enter in on the actual confirmation. So patience is absolutely key when looking. But at the end of the day, sometimes you just get stopped out of the position, right? Sometimes you just can't avoid it. So there you go. Hopefully that helps you out. Let's see. Tell Biddy to go up. Shout out to the Dusty Hunt. Well, if Mrs. Candles would get her butt in here at some point, maybe we could sniff her hand and get it to rip a little bit. But let's see. Shout out to Wick589. Thank Thank you for the super chat, bro. I appreciate you. Let's get it. He says, kudos to Retro Mike Tech for a pleasant weekend. He's completely authentic and chill. Come back to Pensacola whenever. Hey, shout out to Wick 589. Yo, are you guys meeting up? Is the Mafia meeting up doing Mafia meet and greets with each other? Yo, hey, you guys are doing Super Bowl parties. Dang, hey guys, if you invite me, I'll bring some analysis. I'll bring some trade setups. I'm not gonna be able to make you the best cupcakes or anything, but I can bring you some fire trade setups if you guys invite me. Please. Shout out to Wick 589 and RMT. Thank you for the super chat, bro. And it sounds like you guys hung out. That's awesome. Shout out to the Mafia. I love seeing you guys. That's cool. Let's go. Who knew? You meet these meet so many cool people on the internet. It's pretty crazy. You're invited. Shout out to K Diggity. Let's go. Can I bring Phoebe is the question. I think Phoebe no, she wants to come. But anyway, let's continue on and jump into let's see. Shout out to Rob the Crypto Side. Said hello. I'm Brother Snob from the Church of Latter-day Trades. Do you have a minute to talk about your Lord and Savior, Frankie Candelabra? Shout out to Rob the Crypto Snob. Oh, God. Let's see. Jesse says, we love being with the cool people. Let's go. We are definitely the cool people. Shout out to Mihai. I don't know how to say your name. I don't want to butcher it, but he says, what about the tariffs? I mean, listen, these are narratives. I don't trade based off narratives, right? More often than not, I'm finding the spots on the chart. Like I said, we do have that low volume gap that we're looking at here, right? So the tariff situation, right? If we are going to get like big drops down, like we actually did this last week, and I talked about the potential for a black swan, right? If we got a black swan, what is it going to look like, right? Well, I can't tell you what the black swan will look like, but what I could tell you is if we did get a drop of these range lows and we fall into this low volume area and we get a big liquidation event, we get a fast drop to the downside, this would look like a super scary situation. And I do think it might have to be accompanied by some kind of a black swan event. But at the end of the day, you gotta fill the news in here, right? I don't know what that news event is gonna be, right? But I could say if we drop through this, right, a lot of people, there's probably gonna be accompanied by some kind of bearish news event, right? We don't know what it is, but again, show me the charts. If this happens, I'm telling you right now, there is probably going to be some kind of news event that gives you that drop to the downside, right? So again, we can, and you know, this is why I always say, show me the charts, I'll tell you the news. It's like magic. This is one of the reasons I love TA so much, and what got me interested in it is that, like, when you start looking at the charts and you see something play out based off your analysis, and then you see that it's tied to some kind of narrative, you look at it and you're like, was it the news or was it the charts that called this? This is kind of crazy, right? Because you have to understand the big boys are moving that money around, and oftentimes you could see that distribution or whatever the thing you're looking for is. You could see that in the charts before the actual news event comes. And again, I'm not saying that like you could predict the future, right? Like, but you low-key kind of can. And if you guys ever saw the movie Leave the World Behind, go back and watch this. Pretty crazy. I was watching it with Mrs. Candles, and in the opening scene, they were showing like little symbols and stuff, and there were a bunch of candles that came on screen. It dang near looked like my intro with the candles popping up, and I was like, oh my God, what is this going to have to do with trading? And it turns out that one of the main characters in that movie was like a hedge fund manager, right? Essentially a trader for billionaires, and he said that he thought something was up, right? It's about the end of the world, the movie. And he talks about how, you know, I was looking at the markets, and I just thought something was off, man. It looked like something was coming. I just didn't know it was going to be this big. And he like low-key kind of front ran the end of the world coming. Not a spoiler alert. That's like the theme of the movie. He kind of front ran that idea by looking at the markets, and I was just like, that's crazy. I feel crazy when I say that, and they're out here making movies about it. Absolutely insane. Awesome movie. Yeah, shout out to Nitro. I highly recommend it, guys. Really, really, really crazy movie. And I'll just say, if we do see some kind of a Black Swan event that's similar to that movie, I'll just say this. Not only can you look at the charts to predict stuff, but looks like predictive programming is very similar as well. Very real thing as well. Just kidding, YouTube. That's just good. You know, I'm just jokes. Anyway, let's see. Okay, so let's continue on here, guys. I do want to take a look at Ethereum, but again, like just very generically, guys, looking at Bitcoin here, we're at the POC, low probability situation for me to look for new trades. At the end of the day, money flow coming out, stick under this POC, looking for the bigger drop down to the value area low. And then if we get above here, again, like I said, I'm pretty neutral. I would say it's probably like it's a gamble, guys. It's like a 50-50 shot. Either way this happens. Again, I'm sitting in my short position, so take that for what it's worth. I'm not closing this. It's not like I'm saying, oh my God, we pumped up a little bit today. I'm closing my short position. I'm happy to see this ride up and stop me out in profit. But again, yeah, Bitcoin just kind of boring here, guys. Just waiting for, just waiting for something to happen. I mean, like, this is gross price action. Like, ugh. But anyway, I do want to take a look at, let's see. But daily green dot, yeah, shout out to Borpato. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, even, with the green dot, even if this did give us the bigger move up, this is kind of what we've been waiting for. If you get the bigger move up, I'll say, like, money flow would still generally be pointing down, right? So you do have to be careful of the lower highs and the continuations down based off money flow. But again, I want to wait for the move to happen so I can reanalyze what the charts look like at that time. So yeah, I mean, just from a technical perspective, at least based off market cipher, from a technical perspective, like, we're bouncing off a golden pocket holding a higher low. That's good, right? But from a market cipher perspective, money flow is coming out, right? So it's a lot of mixed signals, and we're in the middle of the range. Triple low probability situation. So I'm just waiting to see kind of what shakes out here. Consolidating is healthy. Yeah, shout out to Jessica. I would agree with you. No jokes, YouTube. All jokes, YouTube. Shout out to Jay Violet. What is nearly 5? Yeah, if you take a look at the daily, right? Like, you just have, like, a ton of dojis here, right? Like, this just goes to show how, like, this is not an ideal trading situation, right? It's just a garbage chop. And it's just a reality, right? This is just a reality that we have to deal with from time to time on Bitcoin, right? Like, you're just going to get those situations that are a little gross. Like, even here was a little bit weird. What does it mean? It just simply means indecision, right? In the middle of a range, which is why I'm saying, like, kind of just 50-50 here. Again, like, I would have to lean a little bit more bearish just based off market cipher, but again, like, I could make a bullish argument as well. So just kind of sitting here waiting. But let's see. Shout out to Paper Beats Rock. Yeah, you got the 3-hour money flow coming up, right? So, like, things are just all over the place right now. So, let's see. Bada boom, bada bing. More liquidity to be taken on the daily. Shout out to Jesse. But guys, I want to jump into Ethereum really quickly here, because Ethereum, as you guys know, we were looking at Ethereum on Friday. Talked about a potential situation of filling this wick. Now, I don't know, right? It's really hard to say. I don't know if we're going to come fill this wick. Like I said, I don't have statistics on, like, how often you see a big liquidation wick get filled. It's really hard to call. But just, like, kind of structurally, we were talking about how, like, this didn't really look that pumpy, at least at the moment. Now, again, are we going to get the full fill of this wick? I don't know. Very, very hard to call. Again, I do think that would have to call for some kind of news event to come in to get that, another dang near 20% drop on Ethereum. But at the end of the day, guys, like, I don't know how much lower Ethereum's going to go, right? Kind of like literally, and also kind of like as a joke, like, how much lower is this thing going to go, guys? We got Ethereum ETFs. I don't think Ethereum's dead. I don't think Ethereum's never going to make a new all-time high. I know a lot of people have given up on Ethereum. I don't fall in that camp. I could be wrong. But me personally, I've not sold any of my ETH. And to be honest, like, this is like, I would be hunting for longs on Ethereum right now. Now, again, we're still just kind of at a low probability zone, right? I'll tell you what, ideally on Ethereum, I would love a drop down to this value area low to start really looking for strong long positions, right? Because as of right now, just like on Bitcoin, we came down to the golden pocket 786 of that Fibonacci retracement. But I'm going to actually hide that for now because I want to look at this in the grand scheme of the volume profile, right? We get the rejection from the high, back down below the POC, back above the POC. If we get, accepted into this range, if we cannot get above this, key level of resistance on Ethereum right now is going to be 2688. If you cannot get above this value area high and get the bigger rip to the upside, and again, I would also kind of classify this as like somewhat of a no trade zone for me. I'm not saying that you can't long the golden pocket. Again, I'm talking bigger trades, right, for massive moves. For me personally, I would love Ethereum to drop down here. Again, we're not guaranteed to get that, so maybe I don't get that opportunity. But if we were, the if this then that here on Ethereum is, number one, you're potentially getting accepted back into your volume profile. And this is what we've been looking at, right? We held above the value area high, we front ran it, bounced again, but now we're potentially getting stuck underneath here. So if we can't get back above this value area high at 26, call it 2688, and we get back down below this value area low, I would actually love a drop down on Ethereum to the value area low nearing about 2422. Obviously, you could deviate below this as well. I would definitely be looking for longs down here on Ethereum with specific confirmations. So in the premium, we will be looking for longs down here if we're lucky enough to get that move. Again, could we just, yoink out into higher prices? Maybe. But again, we were looking at the same thing on Ethereum on Friday. Like, could we rip up from here? Yes. But again, it doesn't look the best, right? And that wound up being kind of the good decision, although we didn't really dump. We just kind of went sideways and came down a little bit. But, this is the context I'm looking at. If we can't get back above this value area high, lose this POC, I'm definitely looking for that drop down to at least 24, 22 with the deviation below that range to look for new long positions. And then again, on a higher time frame perspective, if we did come down to fill this wick, another huge level of support. And again, I don't know if we're going to be lucky enough. And I say lucky enough. I know nobody wants ETH to dump down this much. But if we dump down here, guys, I would probably be gigalonging Ethereum. But if we did get that drop down and we do fill that wick, we do have a monthly naked point of control sitting down here at about $2,000, like $2,034. So this is going to be a huge level of support. We also have this wick down here, some liquidity sitting. We did sweep most of the liquidity, right? We had a ton of liquidity sitting down here. So this wick took care of most of that. We did just front run that wick down here. Just because we have this last wick does not mean we have to come down. But in the case, I know a lot of people say where wicks it goes. If you do fill that wick, you do have nice support. If you were to come sweep that wick into that key level of support, I would be definitely going to be a place where we're looking for longs in the premium Discord. So those are the two next real key levels that I would be looking at on Ethereum. And again, if we pull our Fibonacci retracement, you do have the golden pocket sitting down there as well. So you do have some kind of confluence sitting at that value area low. So definitely kind of the context I'm looking at on Ethereum. Now, if we did just wind up breaking out of here, like I said, on Bitcoin, it's kind of 50-50 right now. And that's fine, right? Like, I want to be clear, guys. Being 50-50 on something is like, it's fine, right? I'm already in my position, stop loss to break even. Like, you don't have to catch every single move, right? Like, I would recommend, right, more people, especially beginner traders, probably should be spending more time sitting on their hands and waiting for the higher probability levels to get hit. So in this case, in my opinion, locally, I'd be looking for longs down here, lose that 786. Next major area would be sitting down here. Now, if we did just rip up for no reason or just, out of nowhere, we just did get a big random rip to the upside, key levels of resistance remain exactly the same, right? Golden pocket value area low with that daily naked point of control sitting between about 29, 28, all the way up to about $3,000. That's your big first level of resistance. Get above that value area low. Then you're looking at the 786 weekly naked point of control, which also has a plethora of resistance above. We have 2 daily naked points of controls, a daily horizontal. So you have a whole lot of resistance up in this zone between about 31.46 and riding all the way up to 33.49. So those are the two major levels of resistance. But right now, I was talking to everybody in the premium Discord earlier today, right? Like if I were to long here, where's your stop loss going to go, right? Like, and for a smaller trade, right, like a scalp position, maybe you can go like below some local lows here. But if I were looking for a massive swing long on a higher time frame for Ethereum right now, like what would I be longing? Like if I long this, like my stop loss got to go all the way down here, right? And that's a horrible stop loss. I have 21% stop loss, which is absolutely insane. So for me personally, based off my trading rules, because if you do not have trading rules or a trading plan that you're following, you don't know where you're going, right? You're basically just gambling at that point. You have to have a plan. You have to have risk management. And in this case, I would rather wait to come down to some better levels. So there you go. Definitely starting to look interesting, though. Like, so if we get stuck underneath here, I would definitely be all eyes on this golden pocket value area low. If we rip up, all eyes on this golden pocket value area low. Kind of the same thing. So there you go. 16-hour bull div. Yeah, we actually had that, right here, right? Lower lows into the POC, right? So could that be the low? We were talking about this actually on Friday. I believe we were looking at this as a possibility, right? You come into the POC. We actually had some, I think, lower time frame bullish divergences, right? You have the 8-hour bull div here on, I guess, Saturday. So you do put the bull divs into the POC, but like what happens, right? You wick back down below that, right? So if you took a position, here on that, right? What happens? You just get wicked out of that anyway. Again, low probability trading environment, right? I want to be clear about that. Let's see. Shout out to Blockchain Domain. Said, creeping up to 100K followers. Was there a specific video or something you started doing on YouTube to help you succeed? You make YouTube and trading look so easy. It's not. Shout out to Blockchain Domain. I'll tell you this, man. I'll tell you this, Blockchain. YouTube is a lot of work. YouTube is, and that's not to say that's not good or it's amazing work, right? It's fun work. I enjoy every second of it. But yeah, I'll say this. Yeah, for YouTube, I mean, listen, we're here every weekday at 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Obviously, there are times where we have to cancel. Actually, almost canceled today because I do have something I have to do, very important thing that I have to do. But I wound up not doing it, right? Because I know that people are waiting for this live stream. I know I got to get this information out to people. So I would just say this, man, like as far as YouTube goes, it's kind of similar to trading, right? It's just like it's consistency and, very similar to how you have to keep your emotions out of trading. You kind of have to keep your emotions out of YouTube as well, right? Because like sometimes you might have low volume on Bitcoin, right? Not a lot's going on and you don't get as many views. And it's like, man, should I change something? Should I change my title? Should I change the thumbnail? Should I change the time I stream? Like, oh my God, what should I do? But little do you know, it might just be the volume on Bitcoin. So I would say consistency is probably the most important thing on YouTube in my personal opinion. Yeah, just like always being there, right? Because like when you follow someone, you want to be able to rely on at least like one of their pieces of content being very consistent, right? They want to be able to check in and get your updates, whether that's a daily market update or a weekly live stream or daily, whatever it is, right? In any niche that you're in, you just want to have like consistency. I think is super important on YouTube. Also, like the algorithm, SEO, all that stuff is super important as well, and that's the difficult stuff, right? Because it's hard to say like, was that bad content or was my title bad or was my thumbnail bad? Like it's so hard to say like, did people not enjoy the video? Because sometimes I'll make a video and it won't get as many views as normal, but the comments are really positive. And I'm like, man, what went wrong there? Was it the time I uploaded? So yeah, I mean, there wasn't really one video. Yeah, I mean, clickbait works, right? But again, we try to ease up on the clickbait a little bit there. So, but yeah, shout out to who said that? Blockchain Domain. Yeah, I would say consistency is probably the number one thing. And when we hit 100,000 followers, guys, we're gonna do something cool. We're gonna do like a big giveaway or maybe even a meetup. Maybe we'll do a meetup as well. But yeah, shout out to Blockchain Domain. I appreciate you so much, man. It is. I'll just tell you this: if I make it look easy, trust me, it is not easy. We work day and night, right? Like I do nothing but think about trading and think about this YouTube channel 24/7, whether I'm away, out for the weekend, or sitting at my desk or laying in bed. I am thinking about this 24/7. So, yeah, it is. I would say consistency is key, and honestly, anything you do in life. So there you go. Shout out to Blockchain Domain. Let's see. Shout out to Aziz said, "What do you think about Sailor still buying more Bitcoin?" I mean, he'll. I don't think he's crazy, right? I don't think he's crazy. Everybody talks trash on Michael Saylor. This guy's got to get liquidated, all this stuff. But yeah, I mean, I think he's got a good long-term plan, right? Like I think his whole thing is, you're going to regret every Bitcoin that you don't buy. You're basically leaving $10 million on the table, is I think what he says, right? So he's obviously talking about the long-term for Bitcoin. So, and at the end of the Gulf Coast meetup, shout out to Captain Kirk. Let's go, baby. Let's see. Yeah. So, just chill with massive 5% pump while there's zero catalyst to move the market yet. As quick as it hits 100K, it'll go back to 91. Yeah. Shout out to Alt Right. 100%. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't really have a strong opinion on it, right? This guy's been buying Bitcoin. This guy, all he does is buy Bitcoin. And I think eventually he's either going to look like he's going to wind up looking horrible or he's just going to wind up being the genius in the end. And I think he's ready to play that long-term game. So I'd probably say he's probably going to be right. All right, let's see. Shout out to Baby Shark says, really you're doing this video more for subscribers and likes. Doesn't look a share of crypto ideas or predictions like you are playing Minecraft. You shout like you are not here, yo. I'm not sure if that, I don't know, I'm not sure exactly what that meant. But anyway, continuing on. We're here live every single weekday at 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time doing almost 2 hours of analysis every single day. So I don't really know if I misread that, but yeah, I don't know how much more crypto perspectives or predictions we could possibly do unless we did it like 5 times a day, which would just be overkill. But anyway, let's continue on. So yeah, that's what I'd be looking at for Ethereum. That's where I'd be looking for the longs. That's where I'd be looking for the shorts. Obviously, it just scrub back. That's exactly what we'll be looking for. But other than that, I will just be sitting on my hands and waiting here, guys, for the higher probability situations. So we'll see. Can't guarantee we'll come down there, but if we do, I can tell you what, I'll be looking for those long positions in the premium Discord. Bada boom. And actually, shout out to Blockchain Domain. I will say this, right? As far as YouTube goes, right? Like YouTube is not super lucrative for like a crypto channel, right? Like our views, like I don't know what our income from YouTube is, but it's pretty negligible, right? Like we don't make a ton of money on YouTube unless you're getting like 100,000, 150,000, unless you're getting like hundreds of thousands of views on YouTube. Like that's where the money starts rolling in on YouTube. We like barely make anything from our YouTube views. So yeah, that's it's really hard, right? Like you kind of have to make, especially for a trading channel, right? You have to make really generalized content to appeal to the masses to get a ton of views to actually make money on YouTube. So yeah, it's interesting. I could probably pull up the actual stuff, but we make like our YouTube income is pretty negligible. But yeah, anyway, let's see. Bada boom, bada bing. But yeah, oh, shout out to Jen Friends that just popped in to say hi and show my support, brother. Happy trading. One more like smash. Yeah, guys, don't forget to smash that like button because every like does equate. Not to any kind of money, really, but what it will do is help support the channel and grow us to 100,000 subscribers, which in turn helps the world because the more that we could teach this free trading analysis or give this free trading education, the more lives we can change, like you guys see here in the chat. So yeah, it is the easiest and most free way to help support the channel. Best TA on YouTube. Shout out to Crypto Paisa. Crypto Paisa. I never know how to say your name, bro. But shout out to you. I appreciate you. But yeah, let's see. Shout out to Spaceland said, "Oh God, how have I not found this man in a while before?" Love you, Frankie. Shout out to Spaceland. What the heck just happened? We just got launched into the algorithm. People coming in. What is going on, bro? Spaceland in the house. But yeah, and and again, guys, like only honest TA here, right? Like again, like I said, like YouTube is not really our like YouTube doesn't do much for us. Whether I get 5,000 views or 15,000 views on a live stream, like we don't really make much money on the live based off YouTube, right? So I don't really have an incentive to put crazy clickbait on the thumbnails, right? Like it's not gonna, like a lot of people, if you do like mass just generalized crypto kind of show where you're just like reading news or just like going over what's happening, that's a little easier, right? Because if you can get like a ton of people who are just generally interested in hearing what's going on, then you can maybe make some money on YouTube. But you know, this is kind of what keeps me. Like, I don't care about, like, making clickbait, right? Like, I have no incentive to say price is going up to get more clicks. Like, I don't care if, you know, we get a ton of clicks on clickbait, right? Because if I say Bitcoin going to $1 million, you're going to tune into the live stream, and I'm probably just going to give you the honest analysis of what's likely to happen, which is probably not just, it's never as easy as, like, this is the bottom, we're going to $1 million, right? So it's kind of awesome because we just, like, there's no incentive for me to really just clickbait people for no reason. Like, when I say bearish signs popping up, like, major bearish sign, there is a bearish sign that we're looking at. So, yeah. But anyway, let's see. Yeah, crypto YouTube is a disaster. I would probably agree with that. That's part of why crypto is down. It's all doom and terrible thumbnails. If you're ever thinking about coming to crypto and did a YouTube search, you would leave immediately. Yeah. Well, it's because everybody. Yeah, it's like the incentive is all different, right? Like people most people just do what. And don't get me wrong, we try to get as many clicks as possible, but we really try to keep it as honest as possible and accurate as possible, right? Because like I can't just lie. I can't just come up here and guys, we're going to zero, we're going to $1 million, right? Because like that's just never the case, right? That's why we're right more often than we're wrong. Like people are like, how is this guy so accurate? It's because we understand how the market moves, right? Like I'm not just going to come up here and be like, that's it, it's the bottom, 100% chance of a move up, right? We look at the situations and more often than not, very eerily, it does play out more often than it doesn't. So pretty crazy. But anyway, let's continue on here. And I do want to take a quick look. Midnight Sapphire says, haters gonna hate. Crypto might be known for being volatile, but it's sometimes boring waiting for the next move. Yeah, which we're going through right now. Volume profiles are goated. Yeah, 100%. Let's see. Not if they found Frankie, however. Yeah, shout out to taking care of business. Shout out to Wick589 said, just buy subscribers, no drawbacks at all. Yeah, it does seem, it's pretty funny. Sometimes you're like, wow, that person gained a lot of subscribers really fast. That's a little suspicious. That's actually not even, I don't think it doesn't do anything for your YouTube channel. I actually don't even think it's good for your YouTube channel. But anyway, let's continue on here. So we took a look at Ethereum, guys. To be quite honest, I'm not going to really go over too many alts today because, again, I was going to say this in the beginning of the stream. I'm sure we're almost, we're getting pretty close. Yeah, we're already at an hour. But I do actually want to wrap up a little bit early today because I do have something very important I have to take care of. And if I don't do it, my whole life's going to fall apart. So, but yeah, I do want to take a quick look at XRP really quickly here, guys. But, yeah, so on XRP, obviously, we did come back down into our lower range here. And right now, very similar to Bitcoin, to be honest, guys. Not too much to report on here, right? We're just sitting in the middle of this range. Are we going to get the fill of the wick or at least fill some of this wick down to the golden pocket value area low confluence? Maybe. I do think maybe we have a little bit more kind of bing-bong to do up in here. However, right now you're holding above the 786. If you're going to get a bigger move up, this would be the key level to hold. If you lose 233, you're going to look for a bigger drop to the downside, in my personal opinion, right? Looking towards that value area low golden pocket, sitting at about 214. And yeah, other than that, overall, I will say, guys, like, we washed all these lows. This wick, like, a little different than Bitcoin and Ethereum. This wick kind of washed out a lot of people, right? Like we've cleared all these lows, this low, this low, this low, this low, this low, this low, right? So like we've really gotten a nice flush on the leverage here. So, is that going to be the low, right? Sitting here at about $1.77. I think that could be potentially the low. Again, like we could revisit the situation if we lose this 786. But right now, like locally, there's not much. Like you lose this 786 here at 233. I think that definitely opens up the door for more downside, looking towards that value area low golden pocket. But other than that, like you're just kind of working yourself out in this range, right? Reject below the POC, lose that 786, look down here. I would definitely be looking for longs down here. However, overall, I will say just like looking at this from like even a higher time frame perspective, all right, like we got this huge drop. We cleaned all these wicks. If you got the bigger drop down, this value area high, golden pocket confluence sitting at $1.48 is obviously a big level to watch. I don't think we're going to come down there today or tomorrow. But, as of right now, still just a sit on your hands and wait situation, right? Because if we're going to lose the POC, we look for the drop down. This would be a much more sound place to take a long position rather than in the middle of the range. Could you long here and send it to $1 billion? Yes. But, I'd rather wait for that lower level to come in if we are going to see it. If we break out to the upside, major key levels that I would be looking at above, I believe this is a Fibonacci retracement. I don't know why it's not on the chart. See if I could pull it. Or is this an older? Yeah, so we do have the 786. So if you do rip out of here, break this golden pocket, 786 is a big target at about 289. But again, like you have to break out of this range, right? So like I don't know if how quickly we're gonna see this stuff happen. I would just be looking for this to kind of work itself out. This is like I'm not interested at this area. I'd rather get the drop to the downside, to the value area low, or if we are just going to rip out of here, I'd wait for the 786 for a potential short position or, just wait for some higher levels. But other than that, value area high is sitting at 260, POC sitting at 241, and then the value area low sitting at 213. So, yeah, that'd be the key levels I'll be looking at on XRP. Taking a look at the higher time frames, we do have the daily money flow in the red here. Hopefully, we can get that to work itself back up. So, again, like the sentiment here is the same as on Bitcoin, right? Unless we get this money flow to fake out into the green, I think we might have a little bit more bing-bonging to do. Take a look at the 2-day. Yeah, 2-day green dot looking to print. So, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised, guys. I don't think that, like, even where we're at on Bitcoin, like, again, this is why I lean so neutral, right? If we get the bigger rip to the upside, you're expecting the indicators to fake out, but until we see the indicators actually fake out, like I would still be looking, especially on Bitcoin, right? Like still looking at this through the lens of coming up, putting in a lower high, rolling in that lower high and continuing the trend to the downside, right? And until we see that money flow fake out on the daily, we have to look at price through the lens of the money flow crossing into the red on the daily. Let's see. Shout out the blockchain domain. Thank you for the super chat again. Said at this rate, just call me Golden Junior. Do I get my own custom emoji yet? Shout out the blockchain domain. Let's go, baby. Let's go. Give him an emoji. Shout out the blockchain domain. Let's go. Thank you so much, bro. I appreciate you, bro. Let's see. Let's see. Yo, shout out to G-Dub says, Frankie, go Eagles. Let's get it. Yeah, shout out to G-Dub. I don't remember. I made some random prediction on the Super Bowl. I don't remember who I said was going to win, but I said the money flow was pointing in one direction. I don't know if I was right or wrong. Caught that fart coin long. How about butthole coin? How's butthole coin doing? Oh, nice bounce. I'm just kidding, guys. If this thing's, talk about, actually doesn't look that bad, to be honest. We're just kind of deviating below that lower range. How's Fartcoin doing? Let's check it. Let's see. Kind of the same thing. You're just chilling below your volume profile. You don't really have any significant bullish divergences on the higher time frames here, but yeah, we'll see. You're just kind of hanging out below your range. Doorway to higher prices on Fartcoin for anybody interested, 73 cents, 73.5 cents. Flip above that. Look up towards that POC at 87. Flip above that. Look at $1.12. That's probably going to be what I'd be watching here. Now, if you do continue down, you do have this nice volume profile sitting right about here. So I would definitely watch this as well. If you do get the bigger drop to the downside, this is what I would look at, right? You have your value area low sitting right here, 25 cents. You have your POC sitting at 29 cents, and you have your value area high sitting at 36 cents, right? So if you were to continue down, right, you would say to yourself, hey, area of balance. If you cannot come back up and get accepted back into this range and you continue down, very simply put, you would look to get gravitated to where that previous area of value, right? And then we would look for this to get respected. And that's where we can use, that's what we can use as context, looking for either new long positions or even new short positions. If you get a rejection back off that high. So there we go. Yeah, price action stalled on BTC. I thought it must be a Frankie stream. Yeah, shout out to Stupid Bitcoin. The second we go live, Bitcoin stops in its tracks. But yeah, that's pretty much what I'm looking at, guys, to be quite honest. Hopefully we could just get, if we were just looking at, I could say, oh my God, massive bull pennant. Oh my God, we got a bull pennant on Bitcoin. It's going to break up. Oh my God, long. But again, I'd be very, very careful here. I'd say about 50-50. I hate when we have streams where I'm neutral, right? Like I really wish I could put a stronger direction on some of this stuff. But, we even have the 4-hour incoming red dot. So, even if we do continue up, you could easily come down. It's just a super chopped up market. So I'm simply going to be waiting for those higher levels or higher time frame, higher probability levels to get hit, guys. If we get the move up, stop out of that short. Like I said a million times, look to come into that value area high. If we get the drop down, short continues to play out. If I had to lean on anything, I'd have to lean a little bit more bearish. But again, we might just see this TA get stepped on here. So I'm 50-50 here, waiting for those next key levels to get hit. We took a look at Ethereum, yeah, I do have to get out of here. We took a look at XRP, but I got to get something done here today, guys. Let's see, 6:53. All right, I got to get out of here, but that's what we're looking at, guys. Hopefully, for the love of God, if you're here just for the simple TA, you got to get above and hold above. Like I said, you get above here, you go back down below, you get above, you go back down below, you get above, go back down below. But if you hold above 97,361, that's the POC. Hold above that. See if you can get that move to the upside. I think your best bet at seeing that happen really is, we'll see if we get that 2-day green dot to print. But, yeah, we'll see what happens, guys. I really don't have a strong opinion here, which is a nice situation to be in because we just make money either way. So there you go, guys. That's all the time we got for today's live stream. Sorry for the short stream. I mean, it's not even that short, I don't think. I think we're only getting out of here a couple of minutes early here, about 15 minutes early. But hopefully that helps you guys out. Hopefully when we go live tomorrow, we'll have a little bit better price action to look at, and we're not sitting at this POC. I swear, guys, if this price action is sitting at the POC, I might fall asleep on stream tomorrow. But we'll see. For the bulls, I hope it rips for you. And for the sake of my short, I hope it dumps. But we'll see. Like I said, 50-50 shot. And we're just going to wait for those higher probability trades in the premium Discord. So I'll see you guys in the Discord if you're in there. And if not, I'll see you guys right here. Same place, same time. 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every single weekday. Crypto got me out already, big dog. Post bad word that I don't want to say on YouTube because I don't think YouTube likes it was good to me. Hey, shout out to Nathan. Let's go, baby. Shout out to Nathan. Shout out to Valerie. Shout out to Kazak and Bobbit. Shout out to Jesse. Shout out to G-Dub. Shout out to Taking Care of Business. Stupid Bitcoin. Dave Digital. And Pennywise. And last but not least, P&E channel. And last but not least, Aziz and Wayne C. And Blockchain Domain and Cali Crypto Dude and Crypto Papayas. And shout out to Mikey20, guys. That's all the time we got for today's live stream. I'll see you here tomorrow. Same place, same time. 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's all I got. Frankie Candles out. Bing bong!
Look what's next for me, Joe. I'm gonna get that second bell. Where the is it? They should have had them 2 bells ready. Space showing for me.
Yeah. Head up in the clouds, dog, they saying I look stressed. I've been feeling down, pray to God that I'm up next. Remember when she blew me off, that's why I can't text. Now she call me petty, but I swear I can't forget. This ain't a test. Now they saying that I ball like Jerry West. Coming back for what is mine, can't take no less. I said go and take a shot, so I need your best. And stop the threats, so nobody's into me. I don't got time, I'm not giving the energy. Too many people around me, I'm finicky. I do not mess with you, dog, you're not kidding me. You don't got way too close. I've been up at the top now, so they all wait for the landslide. I seen too many people that switched up, whose man's high. Through it all, I stay the same, I swear to God, I can't lie. Been down so damn low that I came up for my life. They talk way too much on the internet, it's not real life. I swear my fam waiting, I can't lose, and I'm still right. Still right, I swear that I'm working, I'm up till like midnight. It's real life, I got a time and I'm coming to get mine. In time, I cannot lose and I'm coming right inside. I'm in my, yeah.
Hang on a second. Is it Dave Digital's birthday actually for real? Shout out to Dave Digital. Is it really your birthday, bro? And he said Alex O sang happy birthday. Just saying. Well, Dave, I guess that means that we have to give you a very, very, very happy birthday. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to sing happy birthday to you, even though I'm now late. But that just shows how important you are to us, Dave. It is actually Dave's birthday. Guys, drop those cake emojis in the chat for Dave Digital's birthday. Drop the DD emoji if you have a Frankie Candles membership. And I'm going to sing happy birthday in the fastest. Shout out, somebody said Frankie Candles talking so fast he's going to blow a head gasket. Wait until you hear this happy birthday. I'm going to take a sip of black coffee. Shout out to Dave Digital. Let's go, baby. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to Dave Digital. Happy birthday to you. How old are you now? How old are you now? By looking at you, Dave, you're ripped up like Rambo because you go to the gym all the time. You're probably like 18 years old in your prime. Shout out to Dave Digital. Happy birthday. Ooh. Shout out to Dave. That's all I got, guys. Hasta pasta. Happy birthday, Dave. Drop those emojis in the chat. I got to go, guys. Don't clip that, by the way. Bing bong.
Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy, on the roll, here we go, yeah, we winning by a landslide. Never see me coming, I'm a landmine. Yeah, I ain't taking orders in command, like, yeah, you about to see me on demand, like, you know, on demand. If you ain't know, you about to understand. Yeah, I got the team by my side, right hand. Yeah, take it to a string, you ain't seen it like that. Yeah, and it's the dream, and we coming for the bag. Yeah, and we ain't ever going back now. Future expedited, now we on the fast track now. They won't lend a hand, now they see us on the map now. It's time to act out. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy, on the roll, here we go, yeah, at the top of the class on a roll, ayy, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know, yeah, maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, yeah, on the roll, here we go, here we go. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy, on the roll, here we go, yeah, at the top of the class on a roll, ayy, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know, yeah, maxed out, put the